In a post-October 7th world, the statistics regarding Jewish involvement and Jewish re-engagement in Jewish life, they're staggering. Membership within synagogues, participation in Hillels on college campuses, involvement in Jewish learning and Jewish rituals, all record highs. Yes. And while we may have thought that would have been just within the first 6 months post-October 7th, 2023, Jewish leaders are finding that the surge continues. Miri Kravitz, Chief Impact and Growth Officer for Jewish Federations of North America, shares, a year and a half after the Hamas attacks on Israel upended Jewish life, we would have expected to see a significant return towards the status quo, but the surge has shown staying power. Kravitz explains, people continue to feel the pain of that moment and this moment, and relatedly continue to seek connection. But the data carries an important reminder that the surge is not going to last forever. If we are going to meet people's needs, our community cannot wait. We must step up and respond now. And so this morning, I wanted to address just a part of that surge, and a way that I think our community here and across the country must respond. And the part of the surge that I want to comment on is the increase in conversions to Judaism, the amount of people that are seeking to be part of the Jewish people. Because a week does not go by that I don't receive a phone call or multiple emails at this point about someone who wants to convert. That's not common. Multiple phone calls, multiple emails, that's one rabbi. Ask all of the clergy. We're getting the same kind of response. Whether it's because a person grew up primarily in a Jewish neighborhood, maybe the person is dating someone Jewish and they're interested in learning more. Most of the conversations begin with October 7th, where the conversion candidate says to me, I cannot think of a more important time right now than to join the Jewish people today. And yet, and this is what I want to focus on, yet still in 2025, the candidate will follow up that impressive statement with the following. But Rabbi, I have to ask you, do you truly think converts are accepted within the Jewish community? And my answer is always the same. Converts to Judaism that go through study in our approved programs and engage in the necessary rituals under our guidance, you are fully accepted. Let me repeat, fully accepted into the Jewish faith, and certainly here at Sinai Temple. And so I decided to take the pulpit this morning to speak to two different groups, because I want that surge to continue. First, to the conversion candidates. By the end of my sermon, I hope you will hear and you will learn that from our earliest sources, and certainly in this community, converts are seen as full Jews in the eyes of God and in the Jewish tradition. And second, to anyone that might question whether someone's conversion means something other than now this person is considered a full Jew in the eyes of God and the eyes of our tradition, I pray that my words will penetrate your soul and remove any doubt from your mind. Because listen to what our Midrash teaches. Dearer to God than all of the Israelites that stood at Mount Sinai is the convert. Had the Israelites not witnessed the lightning, the thunder, the quaking mountain, and had they not heard the sounds of the shofar, they wouldn't have accepted the Torah. But the convert did not hear or see any of these things, and they surrendered to God and accepted the yoke of heaven. Can anyone be dear to God, more beloved to God than such a person? If the convert, according to the Midrash, is more beloved to God than any other person, Why does someone that's going through the conversion process still hold that kind of self-doubt? Why do certain members of the Jewish community still have a hard time accepting a convert as a member of the Jewish people and sometimes a member of the family? I want you to think of just a few of the severe anti-Semitic, anti-Zionistic events that have occurred here within the United States, all during the course of the last year. I don't need to remind you, but here I go. A Jewish governor's home set on fire, the same location where a Passover Seder took place the night before. Just a few weeks ago, Israeli diplomats murdered outside of the museum in Washington, D.C., and an event that was about peaceful collaboration between Israelis and Palestinians. And just days ago, Jews were targeted and burned in Boulder, Colorado, by a terrorist that was plotting to kill Zionists. This is an era in which globalizing the Intifada, that's becoming mainstream. And yet we still have community members knocking at our doors, asking to become part of the Jewish people. It should be mind-boggling that there is a surge in the number of converts wanting all of this, when clearly all of this comes with a side dish of hatred and bigotry. If candidates for Jewish conversion are asking to become part of our community even while knowing and facing the fear and animosity that is right outside our doorsteps, the only response, the only one, should be an eager, warm, welcoming embrace. Thank God you want to be part of the Jewish people. Don't doubt yourself for a single moment. God doesn't, and we certainly don't doubt you either. Remember, just last week, we celebrated Shavuot, in which we read selections from Megillat Ruth, one of the most famous converts in all of Jewish history. Her husband dies, and she follows her mother-in-law, Naomi, and she recites those famous words, "Do not urge me to leave you, to turn back and not to follow you. For wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God, my God." Meaning in a moment in which Ruth she could have run away, she could have gone home. She really had no reason to stay. But she looks at her mother-in-law, and she looks at this faith, and she takes on this family and this tradition as her own. And you may not know, but she marries Boaz. And this convert, Ruth, she produces the line of one of the most prominent, influential, pivotal leaders in all of Jewish history. Which line does she begin? The line of King David. Then there's Onkelos. Maybe that's less familiar. He was a man that was raised by a powerful Roman family, a royal family. He was on a spiritual quest to find religious truth that spoke to him, and he learned Torah. He learned Torah with Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus and Rabbi Yehoshua ben Hananiah, and he found himself a place within the folds of Jewish life. Now, this was the man that created what is known as Targum Onkelos, the Aramaic translation of the Torah. Aramaic, if you remember, was the vernacular at the time, and so it was a convert that made Torah accessible to the people, accessible to the masses. He provided interpretations and commentaries. He removed textual ambiguities. And most major rabbinic commentators, historical and modern, they all point to his translation as the beginning of their own commentary, as the beginning of their own Torah teaching and Torah learning. It's a convert that provided the translation of the Torah so our learning today can reach new spiritual heights. I could give you countless examples of converts' achievements and milestones within Jewish history and modern times, even here at Sinai Temple. The Talmud reminds us that every Jewish soul stood at Mount Sinai, and specifically, every convert to Judaism, their soul was considered as if they too accepted the covenant, the promises, the principles of the Jewish people thousands of years ago, almost to say that the convert soul, it was always Jewish. It's just up to us to remind them and to remind each other that acceptance and embrace, it shouldn't be one that's merely welcoming. Rather, we should be welcoming a soul back home, back to its rightful place among the Jewish people. We should be so lucky to see the surge continue in membership, involvement in college campuses, and certainly this surge of people seeking to be part of the Jewish faith. If we want the surge to continue, if we want people to continue seeking Judaism as their religion, tradition, and people, then we must genuinely encourage those that knock on our doors. And so I pray for the day when a person sits in my office and asks those introductory questions. First of all, I pray that they don't start with October 7th was the reason why I'm at your door. But I also pray that they don't wonder whether or not the Jewish world will accept them. Instead, I pray that they start with a question that we should all be asking ourselves each and every day. How will we? How will each Jewish soul find a path in which we personally contribute to the growth of Jewish life and the strength that we need in order to see a vibrant Jewish future? Born Jewish or choosing Jewish? God sees us as if we were all at Mount Sinai. So let's do the same. Shabbat Shalom.